everyone, it's Paul from Model Boat Builders. Hope you're all well and keeping busy at this time again. I just want to update on what I've done. I've been working pretty hard on this paddle steamer, the Emmylou from Echuca, and just give you a couple of hints. If you're ever throwing out a photocopier, which they're so cheap these days, you can pick them up. Mine played up. I picked up a new Canon. I had a HP. So what I've done is I've destroyed it for the parts, and it's absolutely amazing. When you're building model ships, I would highly recommend don't throw them away. They have got so much stuff inside of them. Just for example, axles, cogs. I've picked up, which I'm hoping to use for the paddle steamer. I've already run it. This is, they're all, they're dropped down to low voltage through transformers, etc. And it's a belt system, which I'm going to use on the Emmylou. This is just one of them. And I've just run it. I've had it running for half an hour. It's a low voltage little motor on there. Cog, which you can put onto your axle, and running by belt instead of direct shaft. So a couple of reasons I want to do that. Here's another one. Here's another small motor with a cog setup. So, you know, never throw these sort of things out. It's just amazing, the cogs that I've found that I can use on shafts, and I can actually work out and drop the speed down, of course, from a high speed to a low speed. Bigger the cog, of course, the lower the speed for the motor, and you can go up to that size. But yeah, look, never throw that stuff away. And what I'm doing now is that, sorry about my light setup, it's not very good, it's late at night. But just things like this, spring loaded, the belt drive goes into there, into another cog, and it's spring loaded. So it keeps the tension up. I've got another motor here with the belt drive, and another motor here with a spline. So, and they're all low voltage. They're not 240 volt. So they're all low voltage. There's one of the belts that I've got. It's V belt, and hopefully I'll use the other one. Also, when you're pulling them apart, you find these. Your beautiful little clips that you find. Instead of soldering wires and everything else and then taping them up, and it gets pretty ugly. Let that lamp out of the way there. What I suggest is that you keep those, join onto them. They're going to be a lot cleaner, a lot more professional. And I've got a heap of those, and what I'm doing at the moment, there's the old circuit board that I pulled out of the machine. And all you do is that you heat them up as such. Get them to a certain temperature. A bit awkward here. Just about there. But yeah, I thought, oh, what am I going to do? You know, throw this old printer out, and then I'm starting to realise, oh, hang on, there's some really good parts in these. So you just heat them up, and they'll just drop back out. Hopefully, this one's just about gone out. To me, there's nothing worse than having joint wires, etc., with tape and all the rest of it. We all want to try and make our boats a little bit more professional. Now I'll top that one there. Get my miniature pliers. And there you have it. Connector. You don't have to buy them. And there's plenty of them. So there you go. So if you, like I say, if you're going to get anything like that at all, I would highly recommend you grab whatever you can. It's nothing worse for what you pay these days for all these little bits and pieces. It's pretty hard. Excuse me. So just putting that back together now, and then I'll show you what I've done on the Emmylou so far. I think I'm very happy with the way it's working out, and like I try and make everything, and there you go, that's all done. There's your little connector, and we'll do got the cable there. So you connect your cable. I normally try and use the light cables, and as easy as plugging it in. And you've got, if I get the right one, it might help. But, I've got quite a few in here. Anyway, doesn't matter. But the I've got there's a 3-wire, 2-wire. Another 3-wire. Now you don't have to use all the wires, of course. You can get away with just using, oh, that's the one for the motor. Well, there you go. That one's, yeah, there you go. So already I've got a connector for the motor, and I just join the 2 wires onto there, the light wires. I always use these. In fact, what I'm using, a mate of mine, I think I mentioned it way back in about my second vlog. In the vlog I mentioned that a guy gave me some high HD cable. He's wiring his house for hi-fi, HF Wi-Fi, and really good cable. And I'm using that because it's only low voltage, and you get 4 or 5 or more cables in the length. And I dropped in, saw him during the week, and he's told me he's got plenty more. He's got a big roll of it, so I'm going to grab some more because I like to wire the boats up within tubes. Just makes it look a little bit better. Anyway, the Emmylou, as you can see over here, I'll bring it over. I'm up to about at this stage I'm up to about four stage. I'll just pick that phone up, excuse me for my fingers in the way. And you can't even see it now. Okay. So what we've got is, let's see, well, what I've done, I've planked everything, because this will be I'll probably do either a probably not mahogany, but I don't want to go too dark, or an oak. It's a little bit too dark, so I'll go try and match the colour. There's the hull. Now as you notice, I've scalloped the bottom of the hull out because I need the room, obviously. What I've done is put small logs, and that's for obviously the steamer, to make it a little bit more authentic. That just sits on there. This one's up the front. This just comes off. So I've got areas in here where I can put the battery, and they just pop in as such. All this I'll put centre bolts through, and screw them down, and then I'll box them in so it's nice and tight. But you can see the logs in here, and what I've done is I've made my own steamer. So there she is in there. So that sits in the centre, and all I've done is just made it look pretty similar. A couple of pipes coming out. I can do a lot more, but you hardly ever see it, because once you got that there, you got your paddles on either side, and then you come into your next section, which I'm just working on now. There's the stern. So once I put the stern into here, that locks in there. I'm going to lose balance in a moment. There we go. So there's the next section. I've planked this because I've got doors in here coming in this section here, and I've got coming in this area, where are we, in here, I've got tables and chairs going in there, so I'll put lights in there. I've got a little bar in there. I think I showed you last time. The little serving bar goes in as such. That'll be like that. And I've got tables and chairs to go in there, so that'll be lit up. You'll be able to see through the windows on here. I've got glass. Again, I picked up glass from because I've always cut glass. It's an easy job. I picked up the glass from the copier. There she is there. So that's heaps of glass. And glass isn't that hard to cut. You can use plastic, PVC, but then you've got to go and buy it by sheet. The paddle wheels, there they are, they're all finished, all ready to go. So I clean them up quite a bit, and they've got a clear coat of polyurethane over the top to protect them. So they're all ready. And then today I've got the next section coming on now, which sits as such, so you can actually just see inside. You can probably just see in through here. I'll move that paddle so you can see actually the steamer, the engine room. So that's all I'm going to do with that. You know, you've really got to look hard, just so I'm not going to worry about too much about it, about fussing over it. But I'll have lights and everything else, and that's the second deck coming in. Again, I've got doors coming up onto the front section here. I'll glass all these windows. These I haven't done yet. I've got to put the architrave around, but that's what she looks like so far. So that's the second. The lower, the stern, as I've noticed in the plan of the pictures up here, is that there's one there. This is a fairly old photograph, if you can see it there, but they've dropped the deck down underneath a little bit, because this isn't a deck, it's just a roof section. So what I've done is I've put that underneath, and then I'll just board this up here, and this is canvas. So that was obviously an old photo, the winter time, and that's what I've done here on the stern section. I've dropped it because it's not a deck. It'll be posted and railed, everything else, and I'm probably not going to put any chairs and everything else on the outside of it. I don't think there's any reason for that. I don't want to go too technical, but that's what she sits like at the moment. That's not a bad picture where you're looking at it right there. That's the light. So, and I said to you, I kept the hull rough to make it more authentic. And once you bolt it down, of course, I'll have centre bolts going down to hold it, because this will have to come off now and again. And then it'll water seal here. So I'll make sure that I've got a good seal through there. And there she is. So that's what I did tonight, which is it's a fiddly job, it really is, but it's well worth it. But that's at least I'm up into the second stage. But what I'm happy with is actually the motor room down below. I think that looks quite good, of what you can see of it, and of the logs, etc. Then what I'm going to do, I've got to work out yet. As you know, with paddle steamer, the shaft for the paddles come actually along the deck here. Now, because I've got this in the way, what I'm hoping to do is use part of that mechanism off the machine, off the old printer, put a belt drive through here, cut into here, put the motor in here, and belt drive up to the shaft through here. So all you're going to have is one cog, the main shaft. It's not going to interfere with anything because that's all open, and then I'll just paint it black and it'll look part of the main steamer. So that's what I'm hoping. If that works, I'll be really wrapped. But just cut into here, put the belt system on, motor secured in here, and I've got plenty of brackets for that. And the battery I'm going to run at the bow, so I can lift that up, put the battery in through here, and I'll have the battery in here for the weight as well, so it's even keel. And hopefully it'll all be right. I've got rudder control coming in, and I'll put it in here. And I'm going to put it probably a dual, to keep it authentic again. I like to try and keep things as authentic as possible. So what I'm going to do, and I've seen one so far, because the paddle steamers are on chains. If you've ever been on them, the old ones, I'm not sure about Emmylou, but they used to have chains, not cables, and they'd have a chain running up the deck, and that's how the rudder system used to work. So all I'm going to do at the back, you're not going to see it except out on the bow, on the stern, is that when I make the rudder system, I'll make a T-piece with two chains back down to the rudder system, which would be obviously the electric, so that each turn it will go left to right. And I'm hoping to secure that by chain, and then have a spring mechanism, because I've got plenty of springs here from the photocopier, and use a spring system so it'll keep going back into the center. So each time you control radio control works, hopefully it'll go right to left. And I picked up another motor here, which is already on a cog. So any one of these, they're all interjoining. So you just got to use the nog a bit, and you can work out. I've got another 4 motors I think on order, but it's taken so long from China. But I've got plenty of motors sitting around here to keep me occupied, and I can have working parts on there on my next ship, which I'm not quite sure. I wouldn't mind building another large one. The big one, a big LPG tanker behind, that's, I've checked up on the weather. Tomorrow afternoon, hopefully, I'll have a log, and that's going to be in the water for the first time in, oh my god, 21 years since it's never been finished. So it's all finished now, ready to go. So hopefully tomorrow afternoon, now that we can get down to the beaches and out and around a bit, I'm going to pop that into the water and see how we go with that. So there we go. That's it so far. It's come together quite well. it all fits in. Once this deck is tightened down, of course, and like I said, you'll have a completely sealed here. There you go. There you have it. It's I think I'll probably finish up doing the windows tonight, and that'll see me out, finish these windows, because I've done quite a bit today. And there you have it. All right, so all the best again, and thank you for your remarks, and don't forget to subscribe and save and share, or do whatever you like with the vlog. I really appreciate it, and I'm picking up a lot of things online from you guys, all around Australia and overseas. And that's why I always like to try and tell you about different things like this with the photocopier. Don't throw it away. There are so many valuable parts inside these things, especially when you're coming up having moving parts in your ships. Now with the axles, with the cogs, with the belts, you know, you can do so many things. You can have so many movable parts, and it's all lightweight. That's a good thing about it, and you don't have to go out and look for parts on, you know, from model building ships, suppliers and everything else, which takes time at the moment to get any parts. So that's the main reason I've done it. I've been waiting weeks for stuff to come from China, if I ever get it. So I still use Floater Boat and hobby shop up in Ringwood, which is Floater Boat. It's fantastic, so quick. And there you have it. All right, so once again, stay safe, look after yourself, God bless, and we'll catch you on the next vlog, and hopefully we'll get some paint and stain and everything else, and should start to get look, well, she'll start looking a little bit better than what she does at the moment. Okay.